Good day, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be discussing why man is a political animal in the philosophy of Aristotle. So, what is a political animal? A political animal is a being that lives together with other beings of the same species or class or group. In other words, man by nature is a social being. He or she exists not by himself, but always with others. So no man is an island. No man can stand alone. He or she will depend on others, on the support of others, the rearing of others, in order to live a happy and successful life. So a human being cannot subsist without the nurturing, the help and support of other human beings. So among animals, the young of other animals can actually survive if they are left on their own in the wild. But this is not the case with human beings because we need to be reared, nurtured, and nursed by our parents or guardians. So the concept political animal implies or requires that the human being as a species should live or must live with other human beings. And that's the only way to survive. Not only do we live together with others in order to survive, but for Aristotle, the good life, the ethical, moral, and a happy life, a successful or excellent life can only be achieved if we live in society, community, or the polis, which is in Greek, the city-state. So when we live in the city-state, we are like those animals that also live in communities like bees and ants and others. But what differentiates us from these kinds of animals is that the human being has the faculty of the intellect and will. And because of that, the human being is capable of knowing what is good, what is right, and has the capacity of speech, which enables the human being to educate other human beings, to share his thoughts, to express himself, to legislate laws in order to ensure that the good, the right thing is pursued and chaos or conflicts are avoided. Now, what is the role of the polis? The main function of the polis is basically moral or ethical. The polis is the perfect avenue where people can be educated and become virtuous citizens or individuals in order to live a happy, excellent, flourishing life. And it's only in the polis or in the society where man's rights and welfare is protected and promoted. So that's the function of the polis. So as citizens of the polis, the role of every citizen, the human being, is to participate and contribute to the good of the community. So failure to participate and contribute to the good of the community makes one ineligible to be a citizen. Now, if we go back to the original concept of citizenship in the philosophy of Aristotle, particularly in his Politics, not all can actually be citizens. Women, children, foreigners cannot be citizens. Only those men who have reached a certain degree of education and knowledge and wealth are the ones eligible or qualified to become citizens, to participate in legislation and the implementation of law and order. So that's how Aristotle understands citizenship. And also, the problem with Aristotle's political philosophy of his notion of man in the polis is that Aristotle spoke of slavery as something natural. So we cannot speak that all men are born equal because according to him, nature already provides difference or the hierarchy of perfection or abilities of men. So by nature, men are not equal. Some are superior in talent, in capacities, in intelligence, in experience, in strength. So we have to recognize that. And because of these differences, this distinction, this gradation of perfection in the nature of man, this also makes life possible, makes life harmonious. Because if all men are the same, then society, I think, would not develop and progress. So it is this gift of difference, variety, and the working of the different talents, potentialities, powers that make the state livable or function well. So slavery is natural for Aristotle, but Aristotle is against slavery by conquest. So if one nation attacks the other nation or invades the other nation and loots and enslave people, then that is not the slavery that Aristotle agrees. So there is difference. In fact, the master and the slave benefit one another. So society cannot function well if there are no masters, and it can't also function well if there are no workers or slaves. So the difference of the two are actually complementary. They support one another. And as I've said, this relationship enables the state to function well and accomplish its purpose. So if the goal of the state is to be an avenue that promotes the welfare and right of people and enable them to grow virtuously and accomplish their end, which is eudaimonia or happiness, then by nature, politics is ethics or ethical, which I've already discussed briefly in a previous video, which I would like you also to watch and review. And the goal of every state, as I've said, is ethical because it promotes happiness, the good of the human being. So a citizen or a politician fulfills his or her duty if the politician is able to legislate laws that will promote and protect the welfare of people and promote harmony and peace in the polis and enable people to achieve a virtuous and moral life. So that's what Aristotle mean by man is by nature political, because it is only in the life in the polis or in the city state or in the city that one is able to achieve eudaimonia. So Aristotle is saying that happiness, a good life, cannot just be achieved individually or in isolation, but rather the end of man, the goal of human life, which is happiness or a good life, a moral life, is achieved with others and together with others. So it is our role to learn from others virtues or good life. So it's also our duty to live a good life and to exemplify that life so that others may also learn from us. So that is what a political animal is in Aristotle's political philosophy. Thank you for watching and listening. Please click like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.